college football today.
And another look down from the Goodyear Blimp America into Texas Stadium in Irving, Texas. Beautiful night, warm night, good ball game. 24-17. Giants on top by a touchdown with Ruzek to kick off for the Cowboys.
A whole bunch on the line for the Giants at 1-5.
As far as that flag, we'll give you an explanation after this play as it's been passed along to us.
Lee Roussan at the 1. A flag is thrown, and Roussan goes down at the 29-yard line. Fred Wyant's call.
Number 44, illegal block in the back, 10 yards, first down.
That would be Maurice Carson.
The preliminary word from down on the field on the flag that was thrown on the play of the end zone was that the officials okay, late results have just come in. The flag was thrown by the official on the spot, who's Stan Kemp, and then after conferring with the field judge, Don Orr, he decided that he would pick up the flag and rule himself no penalty.
I like that.
I like it very much as well.
First down, New York from the 15-yard line. Joe Morris buried. Randy White in on the tackle. White in his 13th year. It's an old defensive line. White in his 13th year. Jones in his 13th year. And then they're trying to move Brooks in, the third-year man out of Michigan.
Another one they like, Al, too, is Danny Noonan, their rookie first-round draft pick out of Nebraska. Gradual changing of the guard here in Dallas. And a slow one.
John Dutton, who's 36, a backup. 2nd and 9. Sims, and a catch is made by Manuel out of the 27-yard line.
What a spectacular night Manuel's having. That time they put him on one of the best man-for-man defensive backs in the league, Everson Walls. Slides up. You got to respect the speed. He's already showed you he can beat you deep. Walls is so much closer than Ron Francis has been all night, but nevertheless, as he comes back to the ball, Sims is right on target. They've timed it out beautifully, and he has the first down.
Giants 1st and 10 at the 27. 10:35 remaining in the fourth. Giants ahead by 7. Adams in motion. Morris. And he's met by, among others, that's Noonan, number 73, right there.
Check out the guns on this guy. Guns are a football player's expression for arms. Check out the biceps on Danny Noonan, who, coming out of Nebraska, already had an excess of 500 pounds on the bench press.
You know, he started Nebraska 220 pounds, got into weight, and this was the result of that.
It's like looking down at a fire hydrant when you're in your stance.
On 2nd and 9. Tipped and intercepted. And run back inside the 15 by Jeffcoat for the touchdown. Jim Jeffcoat. Too tall, tipped it, and Jeffcoat with the interception and the score.
Too tall has tipped many passes, none perhaps, but not as much as this one at this point. The best laid plan. Giants were being so careful with it.
They ran a double line stunt up front. And Too Tall Jones, who I'll guarantee you has more batted passes than any defensive lineman in the history of the game.
At 85, didn't he tip one in the air, and Jeffcoat took it in for a touchdown to beat them in the Meadowlands.
Roger Ruzek to try to tie the game. Steve Pallure to hold. And it's perfect.
Take a look at Too Tall Jones, who's going to crash. He's going to come from the right of your screen inside. Watch him get the ball. Jeffcoat's blocked at the line of scrimmage, and It's just served up right to him, and from there, he beats Phil Simms into the end zone. Dallas needed a big play. They got it from Ed Jones and Jim Jeffcoat.
Jeffcoat, the touchdown maker, set up by too tall Jones. Jones has knocked down 61 passes in the last 7 years, and he had 16 in 1984. Won a game.
Can't blame that on me. That was the year after I retired. So.
Yeah. Meanwhile, at the 7-yard line, this is Adams, who comes back to the 23. Cowboys fired up. Crowd fired up as the Cowboys have erased a 10-point deficit.
You want to see what Phil Simms saw? That's called an ET. The end crashes to the inside. Too tall gets inside William Roberts. The ball just batted up into the air perfectly for Jim Jeffcoat, and Phil Simms tries, but Jim has just got a clear sail into the end zone. And actually, Jeffcoat was completely blocked on the play, and Ed Jones made that happen.
Former #1 draft pick out of Arizona State, Al. Couldn't let that slide by.
Another Sun Devil. Morris, and he's wrapped up for a 5-yard loss. Jeff Rohrer.
This crowd has been on their feet. They were on their feet when we were away, and they remain on their feet. They came out, many of them, I think, just to boo the Dallas Cowboys, and that's how quickly they turn around.
And those applause were for Jeff Rohrer, too.
Yeah.
He ought to, I hope someone recorded that one for him. I doubt he thought that could happen this evening.
2nd down, 15. Giants turnovers, Galbraith's fumble, and the interception both resulting in touchdowns. 2nd and 15. Penalty flag is down. I think the clock had run out.
It did. Too much time. Oh, and the crowd will take credit for that, too. This will be a delay of game against the Giants.
So there's no play. There's no penalty to accept or decline. Just the 5-yard mark-off. 8:53 to play.
And you're digging yourself deeper and deeper into your own territory. You can't get too risky down here with 2nd and long yardage. You're going to probably get the blitz from the Cowboys down here. As you see Jim Jeffcoat, both of those going against Simms, both return for touchdowns, and the one in 85, the difference in the win and the loss.
He likes
Cowboys winning.
He likes to hit against Simms. Simms under pressure throws. And it's caught out at the 18 by Lee Roussan. The Cowboys are saying no. But it is ruled a completion. Jeffcoat that time came in and really leveled Simms.
I think we call that adding insult to injury. He came all the way across the field. Let's spotlight Jim Jeffcoat working against Brad Benson. He takes the long way there. Simms had rolled out, but that's close, guys. That's close to that one-step rule, and then making contact with the helmet.
He let up just a little bit. If he had followed him into the turf, Simms could have been hurt.
And I'm sure he would have drawn the flag if he would have followed him into the ground.
3rd and 14 now. Simms out of the shotgun. The clock is down to 3.
Well, Brad Benson came off the line of scrimmage. False start.
And the crowd playing a part in this penalty, a very big part.
Well, you know what happened? Phil Simms was under center and decided to go back into the shotgun. And when he pulled out from under center, Brad Benson saw him moving, and he dropped back thinking the ball had been snapped. Let's see if we can get a look at this one. See Simms under center. He's going to go back into shotgun, and Benson, because of the crowd noise, thought the ball had been snapped.
He would have had to call that in the huddle. That's just a mental error. He did it again. He moved again.
3rd and 18. The play is waved off. The play is a dead play.
Right.
Waved off. That means nothing what just happened there. It's waved off. The Giants have already been penalized 11 times for 90 yards.
And Phil is hot. He can't believe this is happening, but Brad just can't hear the call.
Number 60 backs off the line. The flags fly right there. Dan, you're an offensive tackle. When you can't hear the call, what do? You sit there.
You have to wait for the movement of the defender across from you. You really have to look at the ball out of the corner of your eye because you cannot hear the quarterback call the signal. It's even worse than the shotgun. That time Phil was under center, and it still happened.
And it puts a load of pressure on Sean Landetta, who's kicked well tonight. Be kicking.
But it's third down.
Yeah, it is. This is very interesting.
It's third
here.
down.
What is Parcells saying here? Is he saying we can't operate?
No, those are false starts. Those plays never occurred. It's still third down.
Exactly. I'm wondering if
they're getting it straightened out now.
Sims had come off the field.
Yeah, here goes the Giants and their offensive unit back out.
Illegal motion. Replay the down.
Yeah, that down never counts.
Wouldn't that have been wild had they punted?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, it
might be the best thing they can do. A couple of more procedure penalties, and Landetta will be backed up to the end line.
Can you imagine what's going on up here in the booth with Ron Earhart up here screaming at Parcells on the phone?
Meanwhile, Adams just comes into the game. They're still confused. Adams becomes the 11th guy.
Well, they haven't even started the 30-second clock yet. Now Fred Wyatt's got to take control here. The old horse has run out of the barn here. I mean, he's lost this one.
The crowd has really made a difference.
The 30-second clock had never even started that time.
Yeah. And to think we still have about 7,000 or 8,000 empty seats and you still have this noise.
It's a settle down, guys. Let's get it together.
Well, I think the Dallas fans are saying, how many chances are we going to give these guys to run a play? If they want to punt on third down, let them punt. Let's see if we can at least get the 30-second clock started.
7:19 to play.
It's still not moving.
Now it starts. Now they say start it. 3rd and 23. Sims is sacked at the 2. They've been better off punting.
They will.
Now.
And they will not be able to even punt from a spread formation now. The dramatic turnaround. The deflection by Jones. The interception by Jeffcoat. Changed the whole complexion of this game.
Landetta now. He can only be 12 yards behind the snap. His last kick was 64 yards.
If I had to kick out of an end zone, here's my guy.
Oh, and he does. And it's a pretty good kick. And a fair catch is made at the 48-yard line by Edwards. And so White and the Cowboys coming back with 6:42 to go in the 4th, tied 24-24. The Cowboys, having already erased a 10-point deficit, now have the football at the New York 47-yard line, 1st and 10. And Phil Sims, who had some sparkling stats not long ago, having a real tough 4th period. Still, those numbers are pretty good.
And it's really tough to say that getting sacked on the 2-yard line and having Too Tall bat a pass for a touchdown is hardly Phil Sims' fault. It's hard for me to say he did anything wrong on those plays.
Cowboys now send Edwards and Banks to the left and Walker as a receiver to the right. And it's Timmy Newsome carrying the football down to the 43-yard line. Or Dorsett, rather. Tony Dorsett carrying for a gain of about 4 to the 43. It'll make it 2nd down and 6.
There's Carl Banks working the tight end, Thornton Chandler, and just, again, not giving an inch from the line of scrimmage, standing his man straight up and then reacting inside or outside to make the tackle.
On 2nd and 6. Walker inside the 30 and Herschel to the 23-yard line. Herschel Walker.
That little slant against the zone, Danny White and Walker are reading it dead solid perfect. And right behind the linebacker, Banks, and he's wide open for just that moment. And Danny White has been there 3 different times tonight. And one of these times, Walker's going to split it. and he'll be in the end zone before you can bat an eye.
Here he goes into the wide receiver position again, this time split left.
He's left. Edwards and Banks to the right. Dorsett, the sole running back. White gives it to Tony, and he's wrapped up right there. Leonard Marshall, number 70, stops him for no gain. And the clock ticking down. We're down to 5:17.
Which is fine with the Cowboys. I think they'd just as soon use up as much time as they possibly could before they either score a touchdown or attempt a field goal. They'd just like to crank another 2 or 3 minutes off this clock before they have to do anything.
They're well within field goal range, and they've got a hot kicker. Roger Ruzek is 7 of 8.
Tony into plus territory.
2nd and 10 for Walker. Batted away. Mark Collins does it again on an underthrown pass, and it's the 2nd time he's batted a pass away.
Frank ball, had it been led, would have been 6 points. As you can see, Danny underthrew that one. But the only thing Danny has done wrong tonight is underthrow a couple of deep receivers. And again, he's probably still affected a little bit from a severely shattered wrist of a year ago. Have to throw that long one.
And that is 6 points if it's thrown another couple of yards downfield. Herschel Walker had the proper position on Collins, but again, underthrown.
3rd and 10 from the shotgun. White pressured and sacked, and that may take them out of field goal range. That's a big sack by Leonard Marshall. A real big one.
Well, it won't take them away from it, but it's sure going to stretch it out.
Makes it harder. They can still attempt one, but it's about another 7 yards.
Boy, that is a difficult sack for Danny to take. Leonard at the top of the screen gets the pull on 2-A. A good example of what happens when a defensive end gets his hands on your jersey. And boy, this puts Dallas into long-range field goal.
49-yard attempt from the 39-yard line. Pallure to hold. Rafferty snaps, and the kick is good, just good.
Maybe by a yard.
He had one of 50 last week, and that is about as far as he is going to kick it. A lot of time left. 4:11. Cowboys, I'm sure, would have liked to have run off more time. Right through the middle and just over the crossbar.
That baby wasn't good by more than a couple of feet. The Cowboys had a field goal block last week in Philadelphia that helped turn the game, but this time the body English was good. Ruzek, plenty to spare.
Mine was nothing.
I knew I had it.
I nailed it, didn't I?
Yeah. If Marshall can add another yard to that sack, this game is still tied. Instead, the Cowboys lead 27-24. That's how close.
You're right.
That Giants offensive unit is going to be facing this crowd once again, which totally had them discombobulated on their last series.
This is where, if you're a coach, and what Bill Parcells is thinking right now, special teams, give me a good return. Give me some decent field position, a little momentum, get it up to the 30 or the 35. This is where all those hours spent on special teams practice might pay off.
Roussan at the 4. Flag. Fumble. And remember, a penalty marker is down.
But you'd have to think that that flag is going to end up being against the Giants.
You got a marker, a scuffle, and no call yet on a recovery.
Oh, you don't even know if the official's in there.
Yeah. Outside of that, not much is going on here. 3 little altercations, no signal yet.
You notice most of the white jerseys are the hyperactive ones.
Well, for the moment, they've got a Dallas recovery, but now let's see about the penalty. Dallas comes up with the ball. It's Ron Burton at the bottom of the pile. There he is.
Illegal block in the back. Number 57 declined. First down.
No sweeter music could be heard by this crowd.
Talk about destructing in just the last few minutes. The offensive unit in the last series. The fumble here by Rusan. The wheels have just come off. Put that away. You don't swing it around like that. And a definite hit on the part of Ron Francis, the rookie from Baylor.
Yeah, he came in and went for the football all the way. That was a great look of Francis coming in from behind with really no intention of making the tackle, just slapping at Rusan's right arm and springing loose the football.
And Ruzek was in there too.
Little redemption for those 2 touchdown passes he gave up.
Well, you got that straight.
From the 29, they can work on the clock now. And they let Dorsett try to take a few ticks off it.
Did you see Dorsett, though? Both hands covering that football.
He gains about 3:43. Each team has all of its timeouts remaining. Cowboys ahead 27-24. Dorsett, you go back to 1977, his debut, his first game ever in the NFL 10 years ago, to go through a night like tonight.
I don't think he's going to care very much if they win the ball game.
2nd and 6. And White's going to throw it. And it's caught by Thornton Chandler, and he's out of bounds. It appears to be a yard shy of a first down at the 20, and he steps out of bounds, and that helps the Giants. It stops the clock at 3:09.
Chandler, just a second-year player out of Alabama. You have to applaud his effort of going for the first down, but as Al alluded to, staying in bounds right now critical for the Cowboys, burning off as much clock as they can.
This is a real big play for the Giants here. If Dallas gets the first down, they can take it all the way down to the 2-minute warning and then some.
There are no passive observers on the Giant sideline.
2 tight ends. 3rd and 1. They let Herschel do it, and he can't do anything. And Lawrence Taylor is right there. Big, big play.
And the Giants calling for a timeout. Bill Parcells going crazy trying to get somebody to call one. Ooh, not happy.
You know, it's funny. Landry was calling for a timeout on the last play as well. Here it is on tape.
He knew what he had in there wasn't right, whether he got it by the phone or not. Whatever play he called, he did not have the people for it, and it was obviously reflected in what happened.
Well, the difference between the 2 coaches there, Landry was trying to call it before they ran the play.
Right.
Bill Parcells was calling a timeout after the play because of the result.
He knows they're going to kick a field goal, and he just wants to save as much time as he can with 2:59. It's 4th down and 3. So Ruzek comes back in to try to make it a 6-point lead. Hasn't missed. He's made him from 35 and from 49, both here in the 4th quarter.
For those of you keeping score at home, mark the Giants now with 2 timeouts remaining that they'll get to utilize in a drive. Factor in the 2-minute warning, and the Giants, after this attempted field goal, will have 3 stoppages of the clock at their disposal.
And in the Giants game, which they lost 16-14, they started at their own 2-yard line, trailing 16-14, and they moved down to within field goal range. That was when Allegre missed from 46 yards. They can move it quickly.
This is a 40-yard attempt, and in that game, it was Ruzek who kicked 3 field goals. Dallas with a touchdown, and they won at 16-14. Pelluer holds. This kick is long enough and very true as well. So Dallas leads by 6 with 2:54 to play in the 4th period. It's 30-24. And the Giants will get the ball back with 2 timeouts remaining. And a reminder coming up this weekend now, Saturday, college football. Check your local listing for the game in your area. The Stanford Cardinal and the Trojans of USC, or the Wolverines of Michigan and the Gophers of Minnesota. And our coverage begins at 3 Eastern time. A week from tonight, 9 Eastern time, Monday Night Football, the Seattle Seahawks going into the Meadowlands to take on the New York Jets.
How did Stanford get only one bird?
One cardinal.
The Stanford Cardinal.
Well, because it's the color. It's not the bird. It's the color cardinal.
Were they afraid of offending the birds?
Yeah, they changed it from Indians because they didn't like that nickname. They were afraid that was offensive.
You have a multitude of Wolverines.
We do have a multitude of them. Good luck trying to find one in the state of Michigan. They are not indigenous to the area.
They're fierce little buggers, aren't they?
They're nasty little creatures.
Mr. Parcells is going to be a nasty, large creature.
Yeah. Speaking of fierce,
the Giants charter home with a loss. And Roussan and Adams are back to receive, with Ruzek to kick off for the Cowboys. Roussan from the goal line. Back out to the 20. Stopped by Vince Albritton. 2:45 to play.
And the Giants offensive unit is going to have to show a lot more poise than they did on their last series. With the 2 illegal movements at the line of scrimmage, the sack, and now here comes the crowd.
What do they call that guy? Something Ray?
Whistling Ray. You love him, don't you, Dan?
Oh, yeah. I really enjoyed him behind the bench with his little whistle.
Shotgun, 1st and 10, and Sims has it tipped up in the air, intercepted by White at the 22.
Unbelievable.
Ed Jones tipped it again.
Sims is hurt.
Sims is hurt because I think he got hit by Jeffcoat, and he is clutching his left knee. Jim Jeffcoat went right over the top of Brad Benson. I'm not sure if he's the guy that got Phil Sims, but this is as bad a news on one play as the Giants could ever get.
Yep. This is the ultimate nightmare. You probably lost the game. You might have blown the playoffs or any chance thereof, and now you're worried about your quarterback.
Jeffcoat, 77 at the bottom against Benson. Look at him just throw Benson into the air. Oh, you can see this coming.
I don't want to see it.
Oh.
And Phil Sims went down. He has been around this game a long time, 9-year veteran. And I'm sure he told the medical staff when they came out on the field exactly what happened. He knows what kind of injury he has.
Giant players are all over the field. Folks, don't look at this if you don't want to see it. Feel free to blink your eyes or look away, but
it's a tough one to watch.
I'm glad we missed it. That's as sickening a feeling as a football player can undergo. Giant players all around the field down on their knees and sitting on their helmets, somehow trying to will Phil Sims into getting up and walking off this field. Sure, he can't believe it.
Nor can any of the rest of the Giants. They had this game pretty much in control. Checking the looseness of the knee before they will even let him try to get up. Left knee. Here, Ronnie Barnes is there. Dr. Alan Levy in the Giants' position.
Well, for the Giants, of course, it's only Rutledge to back up Sims. Hostetler was hurt. He's not even on the active list right now. And well, that's an encouraging sight anyway. At least Sims is able to rise and put a little bit of weight on it.
Oh, that's
real good. That's great.
That's fabulous. That's fabulous. Oh, that's some classy Some classy applause here by the Cowboy fans, too, who give Phil Simms a hand. That's great that he's able to put. Look at him bend it on his own, slide up. Hey, this is, if you're a Giants fan, that's the best thing you've seen in a while. Granted, the play that just happened is terrible news, and who knows what's going to happen when the playoffs get around here. But if you're a Giants fan, that's great news.
So Jeff Rutledge, the sparingly used one, will have to come in when the Giants get the ball back, but that may be for a while because Dallas has it at the 21. Simms, shoulder in 80, knee in 82, broken thumb in 83.
No attempt at a cheap shot by Jim Jeffcoat.
Not at all, but you can see the weight totally planted on the left foot when he was hit. Worst possible position you could be in.
He's just trying to fight his way to the quarterback. I'll guarantee you, knowing Jeffcoat, he'll be the first guy up the tunnel to try to find out how Phil Simms is doing.
Dallas has it at the 21-yard line, and Herschel Walker,
ball's out,
losing the football at the 19-yard line. A look at Simms, but let's get the result of the fumble. And it is the Giants who recover. The Giants get it back. Of all things, Dallas with a chance to almost run the whole clock out. A fumble, and Jim Burt recovered.
I mean, Rutledge will have a chance, and Rutledge has only thrown 4 regular season passes in the last 3 years. Hasn't played much at all since 1983, one of those years in which Phil Simms went down. Came from the Rams in 1982.
But he did play during strike ball this year.
So he has thrown the football.
So he is somewhat fresh at the 19-yard line out of the shotgun. Rutledge throwing to Galbraith, who makes the catch at the 22-yard line, and he stays in bounds, and the clock is ticking down with 2:15. That, by the way, was Randy White's first career interception in his 13th season.
Rutledge wants to get a playoff before the 2-minute warning stops it, and he does.
On 2nd and 6, he throws for Bavaro, and Bavaro has the first down, takes it out to the 36-yard line, and your 2-minute warning comes at 1:58. The Giants have 2 timeouts remaining. They have their second-string quarterback in the game, and their playoff hopes hanging in the balance.
Or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the National Football League is strictly prohibited.
And you can't do it either.
Not a credit to this Cowboy team.
I'm sure no one does.
They have hung in there. This game has swung the other way on them. And between Ed Jones and Jim Jeffcoat, they just took control of it once again here in the 4th quarter.
3rd and 16. Dorsett, and he wants to stay in bounds, and he does to the 18. And the Giants have to spend their last timeout. So the Giants take a timeout. Landry is going to try to cement it with a field goal. Sprained medial collateral ligament is the report from the Giants locker room. Left knee.
And we'll accept that, won't we, Dan?
I have walked that dusty road before myself. I've had a sprained medial collateral, and that can be a 10-day to 6-week injury. It all depends on the severity of it. I know one thing. Phil Simms is going to get used to wearing a Lenox Hill knee brace, because the one made famous by Joe Namath, or a derivative thereof, he'll be wearing a knee brace for a while.
What a nightmare year for this man. Coach of the year, Bill Parcells, lost the first 2 games to the Chicago Bears, and this Dallas Cowboy football team, very weak replacement team. George Young, the general manager and vice president, accepting the blame for that. Did not want to upset the Giants, building a replacement team while they were thinking about Chicago. Lost all 3 of those little dudes. Came back and had it together against St. Louis, beat them 30-7, and was in fairly good control tonight. When the wheels came off, the crowd got in it. Some errors of commission that you wouldn't expect from veterans, and then some great play by Ed Jones and Jim Jeffcoat.
Meanwhile, Ruzek will attempt to tie a Dallas Cowboy record for 4 field goals in a game if he can hit this one, and this would wrap it up. 35-yarder. Kalur holding. And this baby's over. Ruzek.
The Cowboys, who go on the road for a couple of weeks, come back home to play Miami. And I'm thinking that game might be a sellout.
You know, all of Ruzek's field goals have come in this quarter, and he ties the mark held by Rafael Septien, Danny Villanueva, and Tony Fritsch, who did it twice. 4 field goals in a game.
Meanwhile, it's not mathematically over for the Giants. There are strong possibilities, but with your quarterback down, you don't know how long he's going to be out. You got a short week. You go in against New England.
By the way, that ties an NFL record for most field goals in a quarter. Garo Yepremian did it for Detroit against Minnesota in '66. And Kurt Knight of Washington did it against the Giants in 1970.
Tell you what I have to do, guys, right now, or else I won't be able to go home. Today's my anniversary, so I have to say happy anniversary to my wife Debbie. 9 years tonight, and I got to be on the road. That's the way it goes. Tough business.
Debbie's a little happier than Belichick right now.
Yes, I can imagine.
You have great taste, and you had great taste 9 years ago.
Bill Belichick,
and
hardly believe it.
It hurts. Sean Landetta there with Belichick.
Well, we can tell you that Monday Night Football is produced by Ken Wolf and directed by Larry Cam. Our technical director, Joey Chavo. Halftime producer, Mike Pearl. John McGinnis, our halftime associate producer. Rob Biner, our associate director. Bill Freeberger, our tech manager. Bruce Clark, Harry Lorberfeld, assistants to the producer. Research and information from Steve Hurt. Joe Castellano on computer graphics. And George Hill with the stats up here. And Malibu Kelly Hayes, Dickerson's neighbor, as usual, doing the spot. Bavaro takes the one hopper at the 20-yard line, and he can't drag Ron Burton with him. Stopped at the 36. .40 seconds. Giants do not have a timeout.
For the Giants, I think it's all starting to seep in. They're just lifeless all across the field.
Rutledge to Galbraith. And he's knocked down at the 50-yard line. And the clock keeps going. So the Cowboys, who were a one-touchdown underdog at home, and when's the last time you can remember that? On their way to a victory.
Buddy Ryan may have created a monster.
Got him stirred up.
Well, he doesn't have to face him till next year either.
Yeah. They'll remember, too.
Cowboys go off to meet Detroit next Sunday.
17 seconds.
Can this be?
Not on Tom Landry. You don't do that.
Eugene, if you want to be a teammate of Eric Dickerson's,
But Danny White that took it away from him.
Oh, me.
Steve Ballard. No, they're thinking about it.
They're not going to do Landry.
How about Tex Schramm?
There's no Gatorade in there, though. There's something else in there.
Oh, if they do this to Tom Landry, this is... Nightline will have to get a new subject for later tonight, because there'll be a Richter scale type eruption here in Dallas.
This is like a Saturday Night Live skit. Tom Landry gets Gatorade poured on him.
I have difficulty picturing ice cubes in the brim of that hat.
They still have it ready.
Second down. 2nd and 5. It's one way to keep an audience. I know that. Going deep and knocked down by Michael Downs with 11 seconds, and Mike Downs a little slow in rising.
They're still holding the bucket over there. I can hardly believe this. Oh, there's towels in there. You guys.
They're really lacking a little pizzazz. That's one way to get a lot of camera time.
Yep. That's the way it'll look in the NFC East. Skins, Dallas second at 4-3. And it's Lionel Manuel who makes the catch at the 30, and that'll do it. And for the Giants, a long ride home, and they did it. For what it's worth.
So much for the smile.
Yep. One for the ages, folks.
He waves to Bill Parcells. They'll not meet on the field.
Dallas wins it 33-24. Al Michaels, Frank Gifford, Van Deerdorf. Another look.
Dry towels.
And a classic.
Oh, they took his hat off.
Beautiful. The Cowboys. The Cowboys are back. Sort of. They win it 33-24. And this ABC Sports exclusive has been brought to you by Chrysler Motors and its automotive divisions, working together to be the best. By Michelob, so exceptionally smooth the night belongs to Michelob. By the people of Holiday Inn Hotels who salute you. Here's to the winners. We're on your way. And by Pennzoil Motor Oil, the standard of protection since 1889. Saturday, ABC's college football. You'll see an exciting Pac-10 matchup as Stanford battles USC. Or Big Ten foes square off when the Michigan Wolverines take on the Golden Gophers of Minnesota. Check your local listings for the game in your area. Our coverage begins with college football today, live at 3 Eastern, Saturday on ABC Sports. Next week on Monday Night Football, it will be the Seattle Seahawks taking on the New York Jets. And it begins live at 9 Eastern next Monday night on ABC Sports. And this has been a presentation of ABC Sports, recognized around the world as the leader in sports television. Talk to you next Monday.
Catch it only at Russ Taylor Chevrolet Pontiac. Welcome.
If the Bengal defense appeared ready to take on the Raiders, the Cincinnati offense looked ready to take on the world as quarterback Ken Anderson dropped the first bomb of the night. Number 86, John McDaniel, was a last-minute substitute for Chip Myers, and his fill-in catch gave the Bengals a quick 6-0 lead. Bud Stabler was blessed with his own flock of sure-handed receivers, dependable veterans he always could count on for the big catch. Well, almost always. But if the Raiders couldn't go coast to coast through the air, they always could load up the wagons and grind out the trip on the ground. Number 28, Clarence Davis, took care of the long-distance driving and set up Stabler to complete their first scoring trip.
Against Riley, who's 5 yards off the line. Bolitnikoff to the right against Parrish. Back is Stabler. Humps once. Goes down the middle of Casper. Wide open. Touchdown Raiders!
Dave Casper's 24-yard touchdown grab gave Oakland a 7-6 lead. And when the Raiders got close on their next possession, Madden and Stabler agreed that Casper again was the best man for the job. The big tight end's second touchdown put the Raiders on top 14-6 after one quarter. But if Stabler had indeed found a favorite target in Casper, the Bengals' Anderson had found the same in John McDaniel. McDaniel hadn't caught a single pass all season coming into this game. But against the Raiders, this forgotten man suddenly became Anderson's leading man as he hauled in a whopping 9 receptions. McDaniel's catch set up the Bengals at the Oakland 1-yard line. From there, Stan Fritz flopped over to pull Cincinnati within a single point. Though Fritz's score wasn't a thing of beauty, it was functional in reducing the Raider lead to 14-13. But it also provoked the silver and black defense to rear its ugly head. Number 58 linebacker Monty Johnson led the Oakland uprising as he quickly became Ken Anderson's worst nightmare. Johnson's interception doused any flame of Bengal momentum and ignited the Raiders on another march toward the end zone. Pete Banaszak's one-yard score boosted the Oakland lead back to 8 points, and by halftime, in a game many thought they would laugh off, the Raiders definitely had proven they had come out to play.
Federal Savings and Loan is always moving forward with new innovative products that give you an extra plus, like our new Christmas Club Plus. Open a 1988 Christmas Club Plus, and we'll give you a free gift, plus 5.5% interest compounded daily. Plus, we'll make a free payment for you on completed clubs equal to your regular scheduled weekly payment. For more details, stop by either of our offices in Wellsburg or Follinsby. There are a lot of pluses when you bank with Advanced Federal Savings and Loan.
No, 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 no. We don't make carrots like they do. We don't make carrots like they do. We don't make vacuum cleaners like they do. Oh, copiers.
Unlike other copier companies, Mita only makes copiers. After all, we didn't get to be the fastest growing copier company by making microwaves. Mita, all we make are great copiers.
CWS Business Machines and Products with offices in Parkersburg and Wheeling.
The Bengals' first half problems stem from the fact they simply couldn't handle the wide range of Raider weapons, and that included a rookie kick returner named Rick Jennings. Jennings was Oakland's leading return man on the year, and after proving it in the first half, Cincinnati paid him much more attention on the second half kickoff. The Raiders did recover Jennings' fumble and then proceeded to set their weapons loose on the Bengals once more. The 1976 Raiders sailed a pirate ship armed with a vast army of high-powered cannons, making up the second-ranked offense in the NFL. Then, of course, there was Captain Snake, who at any time could guide his crew straight to a chest of buried treasure. Cliff Branch's 42-yard touchdown catch was a direct hit on the already flustered Bengals. Now ahead 28-13, the merry men of Oakland could begin to count up their loot. As frightening as the Raider offense was, their defense was the part of their game that could be most devastating. Like a silver and black shroud descending upon the ball, Oakland defenders made opponents pay for every yard. And it was midway through the third quarter when the Raider defense appeared ready to put away the Bengals. But George Atkinson's interception was wiped out by a penalty, and on the next play, the Bengals looked to take advantage of their second life. Archie Griffin's 21-yard touchdown run cut the Raiders' lead to 28-20. But if the Bengals assumed the Oakland defense was about to let them back in the game, they would have to think again. Whatever problems the Raiders had posed for Ken Anderson throughout the night were multiplied in a suffocating second half. wasn't of much use to Cincinnati head coach Bill Johnson when a landslide of Raiders were all over his Bengals' backs. When Cincinnati receivers had to begin worrying about surrounding defenders, it resulted in a loss of concentration and a loss of execution. But receivers weren't the only Bengals being rattled, as the usually consistent Anderson seemed to throw in desperation and in all the wrong places. Number 26, cornerback Skip Thomas may have spared Anderson this interception, but other Raiders weren't so willing to let him off so easily. Number 32, safety Jack Tatum would go on to be featured in a book entitled They Call Me Assassin. But it was linebacker Monty Johnson who delivered the kiss of death to Cincinnati. Johnson led Oakland with 4 interceptions in 1976, and his second of the night set up the Raiders' game-clinching drive to open the fourth quarter. Stabler completed 16 of 20 passes on the night. It was only a matter of time before he delivered the killer blow. Fred Biletnikoff's 7-yard score and dance routine put the finishing touches on a 35-20 Raider victory, a win which helped Oakland finish the regular season at 13-1. Meanwhile, the Bengals would go on to rout the Jets in their season finale to finish 10-4. But it wasn't enough, as this loss had indeed cost Cincinnati a division title and a trip to the playoffs. No matter how much Raider fans dislike the Steelers, this Oakland victory paved the way for Pittsburgh to reach postseason play. But the Raiders would go on to prove that no one, not even the Steelers, could stand in their way this season. Oakland defeated Pittsburgh 24-7 in the AFC title game, and then crushed Minnesota in Super Bowl XI, thus dispelling any doubt of this team's commitment to excellence.
Color copier.
Vivid colors have always excited me.
Now, for bright, winning colors, Sharp's advanced technology creates a full-color business copier. It copies from slides, makes transparencies, enlarges and reduces. From crisp black and white to full-color copies, you're the winner with Sharp.
Art by Neiman, color by Sharp. How'd I ever get along without it?
For more information, call 1-800-B-SHARP.
Medicated Noxzema Shave Cream. Feel the comfort. Feel the closeness.
Noxzema, feel it all so close.
Sending Dan Fouts into the Seattle Kingdom is a lot like sending Indiana Jones into the Temple of Doom. You know he's the best man for the job, but you're still never quite sure he's going to make it out alive. Such was the case back in 1981 when Fouts and the rest of Air Coryell touched down in the Emerald City to do battle in the cavernous dome with the ravenous fans. The way these Seahawks supporters were behaving, it seemed as if they didn't know that their team had a 3-7 record coming into the game against their AFC Western Division rival. Or hadn't they ever heard of Wes Chandler, Kellen Winslow, or Chuck Muncie? And weren't they aware that the Seahawks had never beaten the Chargers in their 8 previous tries? What they did know was that there was always something magical about a Monday night game. And Seahawk fans had an almost mystical impact on games in the Dome. And so a sellout crowd of Seattle magicians, armed with pom-poms, if not magic wands, cast their spell on the San Diego Chargers.
All ye who enter this dome, let fear be in your hearts, for the home of the Seattle Seahawks is a haunted house, inhabited by the army of the Blue Wave and many thousands of witches and warlocks, waving their blue evil on the opposition below. San Diego quarterback Dan Fouts tried to ward off the vibrations before the game, but the spell had already taken hold of cornerback Willie Buchanan. When the clock told game time, however, the mighty Fouts quickly displayed the power he had in his magic right arm. Tight end Kellen Winslow showed no fear of the Blue Wave, and running back Chuck Muncie, number 46, steered right through it. Muncie led his team to the goal line, where he followed his blockers into the end zone for 6. The Chargers' message was clear. Whatever had made them two-time defending AFC West champions had a force no less imposing than the Seahawks' dome field advantage. But Seattle's Jim Zorn was a Monday magician supreme, and he had his teammates believing that at night and at home, no mere mortals could top them. There was a momentary pause, and then Seattle swiftly struck. By air was Steve Largent. On the ground, Theodis Brown. It seemed Brown had stolen San Diego's symbolic lightning bolt and electrified Seattle with it. For the next time the Chargers got the ball, it was the Seahawk defense that roared like thunder. Was inundating the Kingdome, and while San Diego drowned in the undertow, Seattle was riding its crest to euphoria. Once in field goal range, the Seahawks' fun really began. Magic is fun while it works in your favor, and a 17-7 lead was sitting well with head coach Jack Patera. But San Diego had a rabbit in its hat named Chuck Muncie. It took him just 73 yards to bring the curtain down on Seattle's magic act and to bring the Kingdome volume down to a stunned hush.
Why is this man being so unfair to his wife? Enjoying his cold relief while she suffers, feeling no desire to sneeze while she stifles hers, without all the coughs and the runny nose that torture her night, resting in the same bed where she tosses and turns. Why? Because while she took a cold tablet, he took NyQuil. A nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, stuffy head fever so you can rest medicine. Now a new cherry flavor, too.
Batteries can lose their freshness waiting to be bought. But only new Duracell battery packs have a freshness date that guarantees they're fresh. Freshness dating from Duracell.
Now that Kmart has a sale on men's Wrangler 915 stone-wash jeans and colorful men's sweaters, finding the perfect Christmas gift for Dad could be the easiest part.
Still in the second quarter, a very calm Jim Zorn reminded his teammates that San Diego had been utterly unable to stop the Seahawk offense, even once so far. Take it easy, fellas. This is still our show. As far as Zorn was concerned, the show must go on. Zorn made his point with startling efficiency to number 81, John Country Sawyer, and the big tight end rumbled down near the end zone. And on this night, that was Theodis Brown country. Brown had only a month before come to Seattle from St. Louis, so he showed his appreciation to his new teammates on the offensive line. And with good reason. Watch number 64, Ron Essink, and number 65, Edwin Bailey, pull and open a mile-wide hole for Brown to cruise through. The recent acquisition put the Seahawks up 24-14 at the half as Seattle sent a resounding message to Fouts. This is a game we want to win, and not even you can stop us. Dan Fouts was not one to back down easily. Air Coryell roared downfield and set the stage for the game's pivotal confrontation. First and goal inside the 5. A touchdown would not only cut the Seahawks' lead to 3, it would give San Diego crucial momentum for the second half. But the Blue Wave had more than this single game on the line. With the season given up for dead at 3-7, here they could salvage something even greater, their pride. Muncie got as far as the 1, and it became second down and goal. 4 times before, in 1981, Seattle's offense had staked its defense to a lead, only to see the Blue Wave squander it. But there had been injuries, and number 52, Joe Norman, was one of the wounded returning to help restore Seattle's tarnished image. Number 42, defensive captain Keith Simpson, shed Winslow's block and made the hit on Muncie, and he was ruled down at the 6-inch line. Third down came, and the Seahawks held again, bringing up the ultimate defensive situation. 4th and goal from inches away. Suddenly, it became a test of wills for Fouts and his vaunted Charger offense. Could the league's best playing for the playoffs be stymied by a defense playing for nothing but its name? Three times from inside the 1 had Seattle been tested, and 3 times they had risen to meet the challenge. It couldn't have been predicted. It certainly wasn't expected, but the Seahawks did it, and they didn't look back. To say the game turned on that miraculous goal line stand is not entirely accurate, for we must not forget the magic present, the kind of magic that could turn a part-time fullback into a game breaker.
Here's a quick pass. Zorn out in the flat, caught by Dornick out to the 20-yard line, 25, 30. He's got some room to run. He's all the way to midfield, looking for a block. Breaks it back to the middle. He's at the 30-yard line, heading for the far side at the 15, the 10, the 5. Touchdown, Seahawks!
If the goal line stand had whipped the Dome into a frenzy, then Dornick's amazing catch and run brought the house down. It was the kind of play that has made Seattle a unique franchise, a place that a newcomer like Theodis Brown could get used to in a hurry. But the party was just beginning.
High kick by Herrera. It hangs Brooks up at the 7-yard line. Big opening. The Brooks tries to lateral and loses the ball. It looks like an attempted lateral, and Seattle has the football.
Now, it's common knowledge that the Kingdome is supposed to be weatherproof, but disaster was clearly raining on San Diego. And when it rains, it pours. Linebacker Bob Horn, number 55, fell on Steve Largent's fumble and appeared to give the Chargers a ray of hope. But a roughing the passer penalty nullified the play, and that was just about the last straw for Glenn Edwards and the rest of the exasperated Chargers. Seattle, of course, quickly capitalized. The Behind Brown's lead block on Edwards, Dornick carried it in for his second score of the game, increasing Seattle's lead to a seemingly insurmountable 38-17. Dornick, like his predecessor Brown, shared some of the end zone glory with his offensive linemen, and the thrill of the moment was shared by Seattleites all. Still, no Wizard has yet found the formula to keep Fouts down for good. In a last-ditch fourth-quarter effort, Fouts unleashed his entire arsenal. Winslow is on the way to his second straight season as the NFL's leading receiver. He was the prime beneficiary of Fouts' quick drop back and deadly release, which now we're making a superstar out of newly acquired Wes Chandler. It was pretty, but it was futile. San Diego had been run out of Seattle by